Okay, so that was the National Core Art Standards. Now, let's take a look at how we can integrate art and music. We've talked about integrating several different subjects together, but I want to focus specifically on integrating art and music. This is something that you don't have to be an art teacher to do. You don't have to have an integrated arts course to do. You can collaborate with your art teacher. You can collaborate with other music teachers if you'd like. You can do it all on your own. It's actually a lot easier and not nearly as daunting as it seems. In the handout that I have provided for this workshop, I have given a huge list. Oh, let me go over what this is real quick here. Sorry about that. This is one simple, real super basic idea for integration. What we did here, a colleague of mine and I, we taught our students this song. We had them draw book covers for the song. There's a class for that. And what they did is they each took a class and they designed a book cover for it. We had them sing the song, created a music video to go along with it. So I'll just show you a little bit of this real quick here. So that'll go on forever. We'll just stick with that. So I have created this list. Actually, some colleagues and I put this together. This list of ideas for art and music integration. This is taking ideas that we took directly from the core art standards. These are things that are actually aligned right with the core art standards. If you want to contact me, I can actually let you know which ones specifically align with which grade level. I have that all mapped out. This is for K through 6, just so you know. Though certainly many of these ideas could be easily translated up to the upper grades. So basic things, using classroom instruments and found sounds to create, perform music, and found object art. So taking found objects in a classroom and creating art out of them, creating music out of them. Genres in art and music relating to various cultures. Dynamics and sizing versus contrast, relief printmaking using pencils to indent styrofoam, and having the music component of that be listening to musical composition and removing elements or instruments. Organic and geometric shape with music melodic contour activities, or of compositions with Bordun patterns and illustrating the patterns themselves. Down here we've got research jobs of people who work in art and music. This is something that's right straight from the core art standards. Utilizing the book A Beautiful Oops to demonstrate problem solving in art and music. Let's see here, tint, tone, and shade of color compared to timbre and tone of music and orchestrations. And actually, not that is the exact same one. I want to show you some pictures here that I have. These are some still lifes that were drawn by my students. I realize the quality is not super great here. However, if you take a look, there's a still life of a trombone and a still life of a glockenspiel. The still life is the art component of this project, where we took an object. It doesn't have to always be a bowl of fruit. They took an instrument that they wanted to draw, and using charcoal pencils, they sketched out the instrument. The musical part of this, we talked about the line, the way you draw line and shading and contour in your art. And then in the music, we talked about the line being the melody, and the shading and the contouring be the different timbres and colors in music. and how different instruments create different tone colors and different timbres, and what the different tone colors and timbres of each individual instrument that they were drawing would be. So for example, the tone color of the trombone versus the tone color of the glockenspiel. So that was easy, simple, but really eye-opening for them, and it helps them to understand these concepts and how these concepts are aligned with each other, and how one concept can be for music, one for art, and yet they're so similar. And it really deepens their understanding. So what I want to focus a lot on right now is an idea, a lesson plan that I have here. This is modernization of historical pieces. It comes from the standards for the 4th grade in the National Core Art Standards. I've got listed here for you all the things that you would need: audio equipment, musical editing software, etc., the goals, the objectives, vocabulary, and instructions. This is also provided in your handout, as well as lesson plans for integrated arts plans for every grade level up through 6th grade, including this one. You'll see here that I've got all of these standards listed for you. I shouldn't say my colleagues and I devised this together. And so these, like we just looked at, these are the different standards that are listed in the core art standards that all align with this particular lesson. So what this lesson was is we took music and we took art, and we decided that we were going to teach the students about modernization. We introduced them to some classical works, classical art and classical music, and we talked about preservation and what it takes for art and music to be preserved. We looked at several pieces of art, including this one, American Gothic. We looked at the Mona Lisa. We looked at Sunday Afternoon on the Island of La Grande Jatte. We looked at the Scream. And so the students were introduced to these 4 particular paintings, and they were introduced to the actual artists themselves and some of the rationale behind the paintings. So here we have American Gothic, which is a really super familiar painting. We talked about the various elements of it, and then they were given the task to modernize this. Now, this was for a class. I actually used this in 6th grade, even though the lesson plan is geared towards 4th grade, because the standards just came out. We decided that it would be okay to take some of these lesson plans that we geared towards the younger grades and bump them up to our older students who won't have a chance to do this again. So even though they're 6th grade, they won't have a chance to be in 4th grade again. So we decided to work this out with them, and they loved it. So we talked about this at the same time that we were talking about music, and I used Pachelbel's canon as an example. So we talked about the music itself, and we listened to it, and then we modernized. So here is the modernized version of American Gothic. And what the students did is they took these 4 paintings, and they were given black and white coloring sheets of the actual painting, and they had to modernize that, whether it be using color, whether it be using cutting out new faces, or changing the characters, changing their clothing, changing the background. You can see here that this is American Gothic modernized as Gothic or goth punk rockers, and their clothing is I guess what you would consider goth. Instead of a pitchfork, he has a guitar. He's got his mohawk and spikes. She's got colored hair and a nose ring, and her choker, and her clothing is a little bit different. She's got behind them there are our auditorium seating. There's a stage with curtains and things. So this is a modernized version of American Gothic. Now, for the music portion of this, the students, we talked about Pachelbel's canon. We listened to several different modernized versions of Pachelbel's canon. One was a ska punk version. One happened to be a rock version, as well as looking at modernized versions of these paintings. And you can go online and you can look up any of those paintings that I just mentioned and look at modernized versions of them, and there are several, and some of them are really, really funny. The students love looking at it. It really, really comes to life for them. It gets them really excited. It gives them a ton of ideas. So for our music modernization portion of it, we decided to use Für Elise as the piece of music here. So I never expected the students to actually be able to play this. So what we did is we put it on a loop, and my colleague made a recording of it. We put it on a loop and just played it over and over during rehearsals so the students could practice with it. We broke them down into small groups of 3 to 4 students. They practiced together. They used instruments, found objects, their voices, whatever they wanted to use to modernize it. And then after each group performed theirs, we recorded it, then we also created a class modernization. So I would like to share with you, this is one of my group's modernization project. They used percussion instruments, and they performed it along with the recording that we provided for them. So the cool thing about that is this was kind of the culmination of several different lessons and units that we'd been working on. We'd been talking a ton about form, and so they really focused on the ABA form of this. We had been talking a lot about rhythm, and so they focused on the rhythm and gearing some rhythms towards the A section, some towards the B sections. We'd been playing with several instruments, and they really had a lot of fun with it. You'll see the next part is our group modernization, and we'd been talking about scatting and a cappella singing and things like that as well, and so this is their version. This particular class's a cappella version, modernized version of Für Elise.
5, 6, 7, 8.
They developed their own melody, their own counter melodies, they decided all of this. This was student guided. I think you can probably kind of guess where that's headed. So that is their group modernization project. Let's wrap things up here a little bit now. I would like to conclude with just giving you some benefits of integration. I think it's so important, and I think it can be so fun and so awesome for you. Benefits of arts integration: improvement on standardized test scores, increased long-term retention, literacy readiness, enhanced achievement, improving students' motivation to learn, transfer of learning, higher level thinking ability, creativity. All of those things are benefits of arts integration. I've listed some really great resources in your handout: the Kennedy Center Arts Edge, Edutopia Arts Integration Resource Roundup, Arts Every Day, and NAFME's Arts Integration webpage. They all list several ideas for arts integration, several resources for arts integration. I'll wrap up by giving you my bibliography as well so that you have these resources if you're interested. Thank you so much. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions. I hope that you'll really be thinking about arts integration and what you can do in your own classroom. If you have thoughts or ideas, please feel free to contact me at my email. Thank you.